Alrighty guys, hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Joseph and welcome back to another Batman Arkham Knight video. It has been a while since we've done a video on this, although I have recently done a stream for some AR challenges, which is still up on the channel if you wanted to check that out. But about a year ago, I did a video with Batman Arkham City where I went ahead and ranked all 9 suits available in the game. So I decided to go ahead and do the exact same thing with Batman Arkham Knight, since not too long ago the season pass was on sale for like 80% off and it was like $4. So I went ahead and snagged that, got all the skins for the Batsuits. I also got all the skins for the Batmobile, so I'm doing a companion video for that. You should see that up in the top right corner right now. But of course, this is going to be a lot longer. This game has about 22 skins. So, without further ado, let's get started. So kicking off the list at number 22, we have the Dark Knight Returns skin. Now, if you watched my Arkham City video, you know that I said for the Arkham Knight version of this that it made Batman look 80 years old. So what did Rocksteady go ahead and do? They went ahead and DH Frank Miller's Batman. And, like, I understand why they did it, because they said that they wanted to have the cutscenes and the game flow seamlessly. So if you had one skin and one in the cutscene, that same skin would be used in the game. So they didn't want to do a ton of changes. But it doesn't look like Frank Miller's Batman. And plus, since we have the Batfleck suit or the BVS suits, which is coming up very shortly, that suit is obviously based on this design. So having that in the game, I don't see any reason to go with this skin instead, which is why it is at last place. Next up on the list, we have the iconic gray and black suit. Now, a lot of people might know this as the suit that Dick Grayson wore back in, I believe, early 2010, when in the comics Batman was presumed dead, and with the whole Heir to the Cowl storyline, they had Dick Grayson take over the mantle of Batman. Now, this is another suit that reminds you of another one that's coming up, which is, spoiler alert, the New 52 suit. And for me personally, and you might even see it on the video itself, this suit looks way too bright. Like, it is a little bit of the negative Spider-Man suit from that game. It looks like transparent white that they use, and because of that, it just looks a little goofy. It breaks immersion, and that is basically why it is not all that appealing to look at. And because, as I said, the New 52 is kind of very similar to this, that is why I put this one much lower, because it doesn't really stand out. Just like with Frank Miller or the Dark Knight Returns suit in this game, it doesn't really stand out because it reminds you of another suit that I prefer much more. Now, cracking the top 20 in my list, this is, of course, gonna kick off the list of bearable suits. And bearable is a little bit of an overstatement for this suit. This is the anime suit. And this is based on the Gotham Knight animated film, which was in the anime art style. And for me personally, and I'm pretty sure for a lot of other people, this suit looks really, really funky. Like, the chest plate looks really weird. It's way too dark. You can't really see the bat symbol. The collar is weird. Feels very impractical for Batman to wear and like fight around with. And again, because I've never seen the Gotham Knight film, I don't really have any special connection to this suit, which is why the only reason it makes it up higher than the other two is because it doesn't remind me of another suit, and it's unique in its own way. However, this is not something that I would see myself use on a regular basis. Next up, we have the Batman Noel skin. Now, I know what I said about the anime suit being kind of unique, but this does kind of remind me a little bit of it. It is a better version. The only thing I can really say it looks similar in is that both of them are pretty bulky, and both of them have a really dark chest that you can't really see the bat symbol. With this one, I also have no clue what's going on with the abs area. It looks like a whole like biscuit on his chest. But besides the fact that it looks a lot cleaner, it also comes from a pretty iconic story that is relatively recent, I would say. Of course, Noel story, the Christmas themed story. Because of that story being like really, really cool and iconic, that puts this suit up a little bit higher than some of the other ones. But again, it looks a little bit weird in some angles, especially head on when you see that really funky looking ab area. Up next, we have the 1970s. Now, if you've seen my Batman Arkham City ranking, you probably expected that this suit was going to be a lot lower on, or in the low end of this list, because for me personally, I have a massive pet peeve with bright colors on Batman. Blue and the yellow especially. The only thing that I really care for this suit is because I used to watch the Brave and the Bold suit, or a TV show, as a kid, which this was the suit that was kind of based, or not based, the suit from the show was based on this design, and also it makes it slightly higher on the list than some of the other ones because obviously it's a very iconic suit design that I know a lot of people love, but also because it comes with a really sick looking Batmobile design, which I really do enjoy using, and this was one of the reasons that the Batmobile ranking was pretty tough. And if you want to go ahead and check that out, that is up on the channel. But yeah, besides the fact that it is an iconic suit, besides the fact that it comes with a really sick looking Batmobile skin, I don't really like this suit as much as I know a lot of other people do. Next up, we got the 1939 suit, also known as the first appearance suit. This is, of course, the first suit that Batman ever wore way back in 1939. Now, this suit is obviously very iconic, and I do really like seeing it with like the purple gloves, the classic bat symbol. But there's one big gripe that makes me wish that we had the zero-year suit from New 52 that was made by Greg Capullo. And you'll see that right here. When you're gliding in the city, with this suit, Batman's arms are stretched out. Now, I think that obviously this is like the fact that the cape is a lot thinner, the way that they made it, and that is part of the reason that I wish it was the zero year suit because that one looks a lot thicker, a lot more like what we come to expect of Batman's cape. And that is why this suit is kind of limited because of that. Next on the list, we have the Batman Incorporated suit. And again, one of the pet peeves that I have with this suit is that this has a yellow bat symbol, and the other thing is obviously that yellow bat symbol is meant to represent the strongest point in Batman's armor, but it also looks like Batman is trying to protect something else, if you know what I mean. Kicking off the top 15 is probably a very divisive suit because this is the Zurin R suit. I know a lot of people don't really like this suit because of all the mismatch of colors. You have red, you have purple, you have yellow. And I think that's the reason why I like this suit so much is because it looks so outlandish, it looks so unique. And also with this game, the attention to detail is insane. You can see like the stitches on the mask, you can see it on the suit itself, and it also goes all the way down to the legs, which I find really, really cool and an amazing attention to detail, which elevates the suit far above some of the other ones that may look a lot more aesthetically pleasing, but don't really show a ton of dedication to making the suit. At number 14, we find the aforementioned New 52 suit. Now, I like this suit a lot better because, well, first of all, this is the suit that got me into reading Batman comics, aside from just watching the shows and watching the movies. And the way this was recreated is actually really cool. I don't know how I feel about the kind of nano-looking design, but besides that, it looks like a really clean suit. It is relatively basic, but I think that's what makes it really cool is that they didn't really take a ton of risks with this suit. They just went with what it was basically made out of and made it look as accurate as possible, which I really appreciate, especially since this is a pretty important suit, at least for me in terms of Batman comics. Up next, we have the Adam West suit, or as it's called in the game, the 1960 suit. This was, of course, made to commemorate the Adam West show, the 1966 show, which was also something done with Lego Batman 3, which came out, I believe, a few months before Arkham Knight. And this was actually a PlayStation 4 exclusive skin. So if you didn't own a PlayStation, you couldn't use this on like PC or Xbox unless obviously you modded it. And it looks really, really good visually. It also came with the awesome Batmobile from this show. It also came with a reskin of the Arkham Knight Batmobile in the colors of the show, which I don't really care for that one because I don't really like double dipping. But aside from the cool additions that it had, it really breaks immersion. And like I would not use this unless I'm like just trying to chill out and have a fun time with this suit or maybe with the Batmobile that it came with because obviously it is very colorful and the mask, I don't know why, but it kind of looks like Batman has a pig nose. That's probably just me, but basically what I'm trying to say is that this is from an era of Batman that is pretty much non-existent. And after the first PS4 exclusive skin, we move on to the second PS4 exclusive skin. This is the Justice League 3000, which was a pretty short-lived, I think, comic book run from, I think it was the New 52 still. And I do like the suit a lot. Obviously, black and red is a really awesome color combination. I love the red eyes. This is our first red eyes costume that we're looking at. But I think the thing that brings this suit down for me is that the red, there feels like there's a bit of an imbalance between the red and the black. It feels like the red is way more present than the black, so it makes it look like it's a full-on red suit. And also the mesh design, I don't really care for that either. And now we have our very first video game suit. This is the Arkham Origin suit. This is really, really cool because it actually shows that Rocksteady acknowledges the existence of WB Games game. That was a lot of games. And also acknowledges the kind of continuity of the Arkham series that not basically canonically started with Arkham Origins. The only issue with it is it feels like they did WB dirty because the suit feels way too dark. It feels like it's almost entirely black and you can barely see the gray. And the other funny thing is that because of that, because it looks almost entirely black, it kind of reminds me a little of the Batman Begins suit, which was also almost entirely black. So for people who I remember voted for the Batman Begins suit to be included in the game, you basically do have that with this suit. And cracking the top 10 is the very first suit you unlock in the game. This is the, I believe it's called the Batsuit 7.43 or version 7.43, and this is essentially just the Arkham City suit, but it was made to look a lot more armored to fit the militaristic environment of Arkham Knight, which is why it makes it so high up, because not only is the Arkham City suit one of the coolest suits that they've made, but also the fact that they were able to bridge the gap between Arkham City and Arkham Knight is a really cool touch indeed. Next up at number 9, we have the Flashpoint suit. And this is a really, really cool suit, not only because of the storyline that it's based off, the more dark version of Thomas Wayne taking up the mantle after his world's Bruce dies, but also the amazing detail of the gun holster. In some shots that I took, you can see very clearly that there is a holster with a gun strapped in, which fits the character very well, but there is something that keeps it down, just like the 1939 suit, and here it's a lot more apparent. The arms are stretched out. You don't even have to pan out to see that they are stretched out. Coming up next, we have the Dark Knight suit, and I don't know why. Maybe it's the fact that The Dark Knight is my favorite Batman film of all time. Maybe it's the fact that I recently went on a whole Dark Knight trilogy binge. But whatever the reason, this is probably the perfect spot for this classic suit. This could have been my favorite movie suit, but there is just one more that looks a lot more aesthetically pleasing. And the fact that this suit looks like it's ripped straight from the films. Like, no joke. This is like taken from the movie screen onto a video game screen, or technically a TV screen or monitor screen, whatever you're using to play this game. It also comes with the amazing tumbler, which is really, really sick, and probably with the tumbler, it came with the best racetracks in this game. And for all those reasons that I just mentioned, that I just ran through, that is why this suit comes in at number 8. At number 7, we have the Earth 2 suit. This is not the Earth 2 Bruce Wayne suit. That one looks a lot worse because it has some yellow in it and it mixed in with black. This is the Thomas Wayne version from the New 52. This is the red and black design, which, as you probably already guessed, I love red and black. And this is actually my second favorite red and black design. And also, the red eyes look really, really cool. But why is it not my favorite red and black design? Well, that would be because this suit looks so much better. This is, of course, the Batman Beyond skin. Now, don't get me wrong. The Arkham City design, which is taken directly from the Batman Beyond show, looks, I would say, probably better. But the thing with this suit is that they took the idea of Batman Beyond and put it into the world of Batman Arkham Knight. They made it more of an armor while keeping the things that made the Batman Beyond suit iconic, such as the wings pulling out, or not pulling out, but retracting when you're not gliding and then coming out as you're gliding. That is such a sick thing that they added also in the last game. And on top of that, the fact that the armor design lends itself a lot better, I think, to um, the red and black color scheme of Batman Beyond. They also kept the um, concealed mask. It's not as concealed, obviously. You can still see probably Bruce Wayne's mouth through it because it's kind of just like glass supposed to be. But because this suit is super underrated, that is why I kind of had to put it up here because it is honestly unfairly criticized, and I think that this is a really well done and executed suit. Cracking in at number 5, and we're getting down to the wire here, we got the BVS suit. Now, regardless of what you think about the film, and there is a lot to say about the film, this suit looks amazing, whether it be on the big screen or on the small screen. For the game, do I wish that it came with the armored suit instead of this? Yes, so that the Dark Knight Returns suit can actually pop a little more and actually stand out from this suit, but I am not complaining. This looks really, really awesome, especially the fact that it came with the Batmobile from BVS. The way that the Batmobile was executed from the entrance animation, which I'm not sure if I captured, but the back flap retracts to let Batman in and then retracts again to let Batman out. Also, the sound and the way that the Batmobile looks. Of course, it's not a Batmobile ranking necessarily, but because they both came in a bundle and they're both like inspired from the same thing, I feel like it does kind of play a factor with how I feel about the suit and why I put it at number 5. And inching out from the top 3 is Batman Arkham Asylum suit, or as it's known in the game, the original Arkham suit. And the thing with this suit, I know a lot of people put this at least top 3, if not number 1, is that I don't view Arkham Asylum the same way that I know a lot of people do. And don't get me wrong, it is a great game. But especially compared to Arkham City, it doesn't quite hold up. And especially with this suit, the suit itself feels really dated, mainly with the long, pointy ears. Do I like that it's included in the game? Yes. Do I love the fact that the Arkham Asylum Batmobile is also playable? Yes. But because of how I feel about the game, I can't put myself in a position where I would rank it higher than some other suits just because of nostalgia and just because of the groundwork that it laid. And so for that reason, it is number 4. And I'm of course going to elaborate a little more on that when I do an Arkham Games ranking. And cracking the top 3 is technically 2 suits, but they're basically the same suit. That is the Batman or Batsuit version 8.03 and version 8.04. The difference between the two is that the 8.03 version is the one that you get from the regular news story, and it ends up getting battle damaged over time. And it stays that way even after you complete the game and when you select it for free roam. And you can still see all the details from the punishment that Batman had to deal with throughout the original game. Or, not the original game, but throughout the main story the first time around. But this is a really cool suit. Playing with this for both the first playthrough as well as New Story Plus later on is really, really cool. And the fact that, again, it has that militarized feel, the same that the game environment has, is a really cool touch indeed. And I think that this might be my favorite base design for a Batsuit. And when I say base, I mean base because we're going to talk about a different, similar version later on. But before we get to the evolved version of the default suit, we got to talk about the runner-up, which is of course got to be the 1989 suit or the Michael Keaton Batsuit. Now, I know what I said about yellow bat symbols looking really weird and off for a bat suit, but I think this is the one suit that I can make an exception for just because of how iconic it is and because of how the yellow bat symbol actually works for this suit. I can't imagine this design any differently. This is a timeless design for a Batsuit. It also comes with a timeless design for a Batmobile. And so it had to be somewhere higher up on the list. But again, there is another yellow bat symbol that is far better than this, and it combines some of my favorite elements of a Batsuit ever. Because at number one, take what I said about the default Batman Arkham Knight suit, take what I said about the Michael Keaton suit, combine the two of those together, and you get the Prestige Bat suit, which I believe the technical name for it is the version 8.05. The yellow bat symbol is really, really subtle, and that is one of the reasons that I thought that this suit was kind of underwhelming as an award for completing the game twice, not only in terms of main story, but also in terms of completing all the side quests twice, because this is the reward that you get for 240% completion. But the more I've used this suit, especially for challenge maps, and this is the suit that I used to get the platinum through the challenge maps, it has grown on me quite a lot because the yellow is so subtle. It doesn't irk me as much as the other suits with a yellow bat symbol. And because, of course, the yellow bat symbol is kind of synonymous with Batman, this is honestly an amazing mix of both the classic suits that people know and love, with also some of the modern takes on Batman with the much more dark colors. But that's all I have to really say for my list of all 22, technically 23 suits. Let me know down in the comments what your ranking would look like. If you want, you can go ahead and post your entire ranking down in the comment section below. But I will see you guys on the next one. Of course, don't forget to check out the Batmobile ranking that is up on the channel. And I will see you guys on the next one.